You're listening to The Bird Bath. This episode of The Bird Bath is brought to you by NVA Canada. Are you a U.S. or Canadian licensed veterinarian looking to expand your horizons? Dreaming of a new life in stunningly picturesque part of Atlantic Canada? Make it your reality at Humber Veterinary Clinic in Corner Brook, Newfoundland and Labrador. Your dream job and new lifestyle comes with a 50 to 100,000 Canadian dollar signing bonus, immigration and relocation support, and low-cost oceanside living. Be part of a team-first culture that supports your growth in a modern and well-equipped facility with the potential for leadership and partial ownership. Learn more about this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity at Humber Veterinary Clinic by emailing careers@nvacanada.ca or click on the link in our show notes. Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it. We're coming to you live this week from Salt Lake City, where we are having a great time participating in VetForum. We're surrounded by a ton of incredible groups, as well as some incredible vendors that are all getting together to figure out what is needed to grow their businesses. One company that is not struggling to grow their business right now is Modern Animal. Their Series D funding round brings in the dollar bills. That's right. Modern Animal just closed their Series D funding for $46 million, led by Addition, True Ventures, and Upfront Ventures, with participation from Founders Fund, alongside a strategic expansion of its board of directors. Modern Animal has been rapidly growing over the past few years here, and Stephen Eidelman, the company's founder and CEO, said, "This is an important moment for Modern Animal. We're growing our care offerings and investing in the technology that puts us in a unique position to better serve pets and their parents, empowering our veterinary teams and build long-term value in a fast-changing industry." Found it pretty interesting here when I looked at the people who were part of this new adventure and some of the new folks who are joining the board. Mark Suster, who's a managing partner at Upfront Ventures, which has been backing Modern Animal since 2019, joins the company's board alongside Karen Boone, who's the former CFO of Restoration Hardware. She's also a board member of Peloton, Sonos, CoreWeave, and Rivian, and Tony Conrad, who's a partner at True Ventures, and Robbie Horwitz, who's a partner at Addition. So Modern Animal is never one to shy away from bringing in some big guns to make some big changes here. The new funding comes on the heels of a big-time growth. The Modern Animal reports 85% year-over-year revenue growth in 2024 and now says that they have a $100 million annual run rate. So big times to do things. We're seeing a lot of practices and a lot of practice groups trying to pivot and find new ways to modernize. Let's throw in the pun there. To modernize the ways that they're tackling their business here. And it seems like Modern Animal is really leaning heavily into their tech-focused business. They're now at 27 clinics across California, Texas, and Colorado, and they say they've served over 100,000 pets. So congratulations to Modern Animal on the new funding. Across the pond, the folks in the vet family tree continue to not branch out too far. Medivet has appointed the former CVS boss as their UK CEO. Ben Jacklin has been named as Medivet's first UK chief executive after leaving his role at CVS last year. If you're unfamiliar with this, both of these, especially CVS Group, is one of the largest groups, if not the largest group in Europe, and Medivet is rapidly growing and also extremely large. In their press release, Ben Jacklin said, "This is an incredibly exciting moment to be joining Medivet. As a vet, first and foremost, I know how deeply our colleagues care about doing the right thing for our patients. Too often, vets and nurses deliver great medicine in spite of the structures and systems around them. I believe veterinary groups must evolve to place our clinicians front and center, sharing equity while leading their clinic and ultimately benefiting more from their success." So this is great to see. It's one of these things that continues to matter more and more as we see the CMA in the UK stalling their decision on what sort of changes they want to see within the veterinary industry. And so seeing a veterinarian step into a leadership role in the UK for a group like Medivet definitely signals a lot of things that could be super important. Medivet has been bringing in some heavy hitters. They brought in a new chief commercial officer and legal officer from Pets at Home just earlier this year. And so they're definitely bolstering their team. I'm going to be interested to see how Medivet grows and if we expect to see the CMA ease on some of their expectations or some of their demands from the industry as people are making these preemptive moves to begin better incorporating the veterinarian and the veterinary decision making into their practices. So congratulations and best of luck in the new role. I'm thinking I might be starting the Gallant podcast because Gallant has brought out another big piece of news. And honestly, the stem cell research is super cool and something that really excites me. So big news here. Gallant, as many of you know, it's an animal health biotech company pioneering ready-to-use stem cell therapies, has just hit a major milestone with the FDA. Their stem cell therapy for FCGS, this was new to me, so I'm going to break it down for you guys. It's a really big disease for cats with no therapeutic options. They have gotten the agency's criteria for a reasonable expectation of effectiveness. More specifically, the product under review has so many syllables in it, but you know what, guys? Stick with me and let's battle through this one. Uterine-derived allogeneic mesenchymal stromal cell therapy for refractory feline chronic gingivostomitis, or FCGS, because that's a lot of syllables. And if you're listening to this and you're a vet, you know what I'm talking about already. And if you aren't, just know stem cells are making a big move, and Gallant has done a really great job here to be able to get the reasonable expectation of effectiveness from the FDA. The expectation here and what Gallant expects to see is that their therapy is on track for conditional FDA approval by early 2026 and could become the first ready-to-use stem cell therapy approved in veterinary medicine. It's going to be a real groundbreaker. We had Linda Black on the show recently talking about what's going on here when they've raised a funding round and a lot of the really incredible things. But the goal here is to have a ready-to-use stem cell therapy available on demand and administered as simple IV injection. Gallant's working to make regenerative medicine mainstream and available to any pet that needs it. So kudos to the team. I know anytime that the FDA is involved, there's massive amounts of work that goes into that. So really, really cool to see this be such a big success for them so far. Final story here. The academic world in vet med is absolutely booming. We are seeing a ton of investment and a ton of fundraising going into these veterinary schools that are not just the new ones, but the ones that are continuing to grow. First, UC Davis just last week announced that they're moving to the next phase of their veterinary medical complex, funded by a $110.5 million raise to date. The plan is an educational pavilion, a new primary care hospital, an equine hospital, a cancer center, a spay and neuter clinic, and a raptor center, which doesn't involve dinosaurs, but it's still pretty cool, on roughly a 10-year build timeline. Overall, they're expecting to be able to do more patient care, accelerate research, and attack the workforce shortage. If you step back a little bit, from the 2024 to 2025 fiscal year, the school brought in a record $118 million from over 5,000 donors. The leadership at UC Davis sort of contributes that to the momentum of growing these facilities, as well as a Southern California expansion slated to open next year. Now, not to be left out, Tuskegee University just broke ground on a 57,000 square foot small animal teaching hospital. It's an $18 million project the school says that it is doing debt-free using investment returns from the Mackenzie Scott $20 million gift in 2020. So super cool there. The phase one of this building covers the teaching hospital with advanced imaging, ORs, and ICU capabilities. And a preclinical instruction building is planned too. Now, these two schools aren't the only ones that are bringing in funding. We're seeing expansion on facilities across LMU. We're seeing a ton of universities expanding and growing their footprint. Just earlier this year, we talked about a $250 million state funding for Oklahoma State, which also had another $78 million previously allocated. allocated to build a 255,000 square foot veterinary teaching hospital. So ton of big things that are happening here. People are putting big money into these veterinary schools. They're looking to tackle the workforce shortage. They're looking to increase their class sizes. And also they're looking to make their universities and their teaching facilities the premier place to be. So we expect to see bigger, newer teaching hospitals with more clinical throughput, more residency, more intern seats, and graduates are going to be trained on higher level medicine. That's the goal, I think. The really interesting thing, though, as we look at the way that both of these schools are expanding, we've got philanthropy-led builds at UC Davis and Tuskegee. Public money and mega money is going into huge projects in Oklahoma. We should expect to continue to see more states stepping up, the states that are expanding their vet schools or are adding new ones, to be able to start putting some real big dollars around these universities. Finally, I just want to say this week's better than last week was. Thank you to everyone who reached out. That was awesome. I really appreciate it. I love doing this show. Being able to take the time to talk vet med and be around people that I enjoy every single day is an absolute pleasure. And I'm loving doing this here. I'm loving being in Salt Lake City with VetForum this week, and hope to see you all very soon. For more on these and other stories, join us by subscribing to our Substack. There's a link in the bio. And don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For the Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. See you next week.